But before I do, you're going to help me. I want you to finish these. These are things that mothers have said over the years. You finish it. Here goes. Always wear clean underwear in case. See? Call me when you get there so I'll know that you'll be safe. Close the door. Were you born? So good. Don't cross your eyes. They might. Wow. Don't sit too close to the TV. You will ruin your eyes. Go ask your dad. Don't use that tone on me. Don't talk with your mouth. Is there a book that all moms read that says how do you know you don't like it if you haven't tried it? Wow. This is amazing. Everyone's going to get this, okay? I brought you into this world. Oh, goodness. Nancy's fault. I want to preach on Abraham. She told me. I hope someday you have children just like you. If you don't clean up your plate, you can't have dessert. If you don't stop crying, I will give you something to cry. Wow. Look at me when I'm talking to you. This is one of my favorites. Come back down those stairs and go back up without stomping. If Bob's mom lets him jump off the Empire State Building, do you think I should let you do that too? I'll treat you like an adult when. Wow.
God, don't slam the door.
Right. You know the one about, I hope you have a child that's just like you. Mothers should not say that to their children because.
They do though.
Yeah, but they should because then mothers can be doubly punished. Grandmother. Amen.
We remain seated for this. We're going to look at these verses very quickly, okay? That was great. Wow. It must be a book that all mothers study. And do yourself a favor. The 31st chapter of Proverbs actually starts with this thing about wives and mothers starts with verse 10. A long passage. I'm going to start with verse 28. Her children arise and call her blessed. Blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive. Beauty is fleeting. But a woman who loves or fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her the reward she has earned, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. Amen. Mother's Day sermons are hard to preach. Actually, I wanted to go high. And there's several reasons why they're hard to preach. Because some people have fantastic, amazing, marvelous, wonderful moms. But everyone doesn't have a mom like that. Some have bad memories, negative experiences with mom, and so when a preacher preaches for 25 minutes about how great moms are, there's usually someone in the congregation saying, no, my mom wasn't that way. A third reason it's difficult is because sometimes of the fresh pain of those who've lost their moms. And personally, another reason why it's hard for preachers to preach on Mother's Day is because it's hard to find, and don't disagree with me, we'll figure this out together, but it's hard to find a lot of the gospel, the good news about Jesus, if you're going to talk about moms for the whole message. And so to satisfy this preacher, I'm going to tell you about the gospel, 3 or 4 sentences, then we're going to go in. Come on. The gospel is the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus. That God sent His Son to die for you and I, to take our place. He rose again. And anyone who does not accept the Savior, who rejects the Son of God, has very little chance of ever seeing heaven. That is the gospel. And I've shared the gospel with you to satisfy myself. But now we're going to talk about Mom. And I'm called the Sermon Master Designer. There's an old song, Cotton Candy Clouds, Master Designer. Cotton candy clouds so fluffy and white. Who put you there in the sky so blue? Or did you just happen to float along in the sky so pretty and white? And it talks about how God is the master designer. Just for 30 seconds, I want you to talk to me again and just tell me some things that you believe that God has designed. What does God design? Sunset and sunrise. Trees. Creation. Ocean. Day and night. Us. That was my sermon. Rainbow. Butterflies. Birds. All things. That's right. And God has designed fatherhood and motherhood, male, female, marriage, all those things that anybody who still believes in evolution would have trouble believing. Who could design those beautiful things that God has designed? And so for this sermon, 4 things that God has designed regarding moms and motherhood. Let's look at the first one. God designed a mother's womb to nourish and carry us. Only God could have designed the womb. And we know as we consider this together that all sorts of animals reproduce and give birth, and there's wombs in animals. Only God could have done that. And in a mom's womb, there the child, the infant, is conceived, carried, nurtures. We have passages, and this is one of them. You can look. Not yet. Powerful. And we have passages here where David wrote, and he said that God knew him before he had a formed body. God knew him in the hidden places, which is the womb. And God did that. And although there are many things that I don't agree with in a certain church, initials RC, everybody understand? Don't agree with a man forgiving your sins. Don't agree with the worship of Mary. But there's one thing in that church that I respect and regard and agree with. And the Roman Catholic Church teaches that life begins at conception. That's right. I believe in that, and I say amen to that, and I agree with that because the Bible teaches us that. All right? Not a blob. It's more than just a bunch of cells and more than just tissue. And if those who are against life want to call it a fetus or an embryo, so be it. Medical science can call it that. But the Bible, Scripture calls that a baby, a human life. And that begins in the womb. And there's bad news and good news here. And the bad news is, ever since 1973, society has decided to abort many babies that never had a chance. And I still wonder if some babies that would have lived could have had the one that cured cancer, all sorts of things in this life. But that's the bad news. Millions have been aborted. There was a time before 1973 when the safest place in the world for a baby was in the womb. Now it's one of the most dangerous places in the world for a baby because we're not sure the baby will come out of the womb because of abortion. That's the bad news. Quickly, let's go to the good news. Every single baby ever aborted will go to heaven. That's the good news. As a matter of fact, when our Lord was here, He said, "Woe to them who offend little ones. It's better if a millstone were hanged about his neck and and he was drowned in the depths of the sea. If you offend a baby, if you hurt a baby, you abuse the child. And even in the Old Covenant, I can tell you this in the book of Exodus, if a man hurt a woman who was carrying a baby, and she lost the baby in the pregnancy, the husband and the court would decide how much he would pay, all the way up to taking his life too. So there's regard there, and a mom's womb is there to nurture, conceive, carry, protect the newborn. And God designed that. Second, God designed a mother's arms to carry us. You can tell we're going further. The womb and then the arms. The Bible talks about a woman named Hannah did not have any children, and she prayed for a child, and God finally gave Hannah a child. And during her prayer, she said, "Lord, if you give me a child, I'll dedicate him to all the years of his life. He will be for you." And we see from this passage about he was 3 or 4. The Bible doesn't say. The Bible actually says when he was weaned, when his mother was finished nursing him, she took him to the temple and there dedicated him to the Lord. And all his life he served the Lord. But before that time, I began to wonder, when he was 4, if he took him to the temple at 4 and said goodbye to him while she visited every now and then, what kind of relationship did that mom have with that little boy? Precious and close it had to be. So a mother's arms and a father's arms are to carry the child when they're young. Third, God designed a mother's knee to teach us about Jesus. I like this a lot. So we got the womb, we got the arms, we got the mother's knee. Many children right now learn nothing at their mother's knee. Nothing. And let's go a step further. Many children right now learn wrong things at mother's knee. It's better learn nothing than wrong things, but many are learning wrong things. By the way, I just heard last week from someone that they're for custody of a child. They're under 8th trial for custody of the same woman who's lost all 8 children that she was given birth to because of drugs. Meth. A meth addict, and all the children are born that way. So, learning at a mother's knee. At a mother's knee is where every mom has the privilege, the joy, and the responsibility to train the child to love the Lord and know Jesus and to grow up knowing Him in a personal way. And all moms, and we also might have moms in the church today at this service and both who didn't do that. Or moms who can look back and wish they had done more at her knee and training her child to know the Lord. But children should be trained to love the Lord before they can talk, before they can walk, before they can express themselves, before the public school system gets a hold of them, and certainly before society gets a hold of them. And so we have a great example in the Bible of this. Timothy. Look at this. Continue what you have learned because you know those whom you learned it, and how from infancy you've known the Holy Scriptures. How in the world can an infant know Scriptures? Well, the mom tells the infant. The mom sings Christian songs, plays Christian music, and gives Bible verses to the infant. And before the child can speak, the child can hear and know those things. I think we have another passage. I have been reminded of your sincere faith, which first lived in your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice. Here's Timothy, who became a preacher of the gospel, son of Paul by faith. And the reason he became a great preacher was because of grandma and mom. Guess what, Michiana church family? We have someone in this church that's true of. That would be Jean. I'm not sure how all of you were at that, but Jean's grandma was a woman of great faith and raised her family, and then his mom, and now Jean, and he talks about it quite a bit. Never apologize and say, well, I lived a wild life and came to Jesus. This man had a heritage, a grandma and a mom that brought him to the Lord. And that's what made Timothy a great preacher, his heritage. Okay. Sorry. arms, mother's knee, and now we have a mother's words of encouragement. When the children leave the home, you just don't stop being a mom. Once a mom, always a mom. And sometimes children, even when they're older, need to hear mom's words of encouragement. You know? Right? Nancy and I have a personal friend who had a liver transplant, I think like 8 years ago now. I was with him in the hospital. A strong Christian, vibrant man. He's probably he's in his 70s now, but he had a liver transplant when he was like 63. When he came out of the surgery, first thing he said was, "I miss my mom." Because he wanted his mom to be there to encourage him and say, "Son, you'll be all right." Just needed to hear that from his mom. And a few of you know and pray for me. I just, on Thursday, got an email that wasn't very good. And it could turn out horrible. I'll find out tomorrow about my job. But I haven't told Nancy this yet. But there have been times since I got this email, I thought, you know what? I wish I could call her. Because my mom would say, "It's going to be okay. You'll be fine." But my mom is gone. So words of encouragement. I love the story of a little boy who was 4 years old who went to bed during a major thunderstorm. Cracking, popping, roaring thunder. And he called his mom into his room. He said, "Mommy, I'm afraid. Can you sleep with me?" And his mom said, "No, honey, I can't do that. I have to sleep with Daddy." There was silence, and then the little boy said, "You big sissy." We all need moms. Chuck, would you explain that? We all need that. I think of two moms in the Bible. One was Salome. And she was a woman who loved the Lord. And the Bible tells us in Matthew 20 that she came to Jesus and said, "Would it be okay if my sons sat on the right and left hand in the new kingdom?" And we fault her for that, for being presumptuous, but she wanted the best for her sons, and Jesus never even said no. He just said that you don't know what you're asking. It's pretty difficult. And the other mom I'm thinking of, and I think we give you a passage we'll put up there in a minute on the board, is the mother of Jesus. That woman went to the cross and watched her son crucified. And she knew she couldn't do a thing about it, but she got as close to her son as she could get without being harmed herself. And she was told when the baby was born, the day's going to come when the sword will pierce your soul. And I believe that it encouraged Jesus as a man to have his mouth at the cross, to be there for him as much as she must. Mother's Day also can be a painful day, because some of us have lost our mom, and the memories are pretty fresh. I want to tell you this: the harder it is because of how close the relationship is. The closer the relationship, the more difficult it is to say goodbye. And if you're really close to mom, that made it more difficult than ever. But we have a passage, I'll start quoting it. We have not Matthew 19, there it is. We believe that Jesus died and rose again. We also believe that those who sleep, those who died, will not go ahead of those who are alive. The Lord himself will come down from heaven and shout, the voice of the archangel, come to follow God, the dead in Christ, moms, will rise first. And those of us who are alive will be caught up together in the air with the Lord, and so shall be with him. This is an encouraging thing, that mom was a Christian, and she has passed on. And you are a Christian. You will see mom again. And the relationship will be better than ever then, and it'll be a new relationship. So, the womb, the arms, the knees, the mouth of encouraging words. Now I just want to, I know this is not going to be popular, but I want to take a little break and talk about Abraham. I'm going to have my way a little bit here too. We're in the middle of a journey. We started last week with the journey of Abraham. I just want to tell you this. God called Abraham from his home to a new country that he was going to show him and later he was going to give him. And I just want you to know in Genesis 12:10, the Bible says this. Are you with me? God called Abraham out of his home to a new land. 10th verse of Genesis 12 says this. And there was a famine in the land. Let's crawl inside the skin or walk in the shoes of Abraham. Wait a minute. God, you called me out of my home to this new land, and as soon as I get there, there's a famine. God, what are you doing to me? If I was better off where I was, why did you bring me out here for a famine? Just like the children of Israel. Why did you bring us out here in the wilderness to die? We had to eat. God, why did you do this? And so what I want you to understand, we're going to put it on the board in a minute, but I want to say it to you first. And I'm preaching to Justin right now because of what's going on in our lives. When things happen in our lives that we do not choose, we don't want, and we never vote for, you can be a victim or a student. A victim says, God, why did you do this to me? A student says, Lord, what are you trying to teach me in this? A victim says, I'm going to get back at people who hurt me. And a student said, I'm still going to serve people and give God the glory to whatever happens. Be a victim or you can be a student. The very first Mother's Day was established by Congress in the year 1914. This is the 100th anniversary. They had some before that, but it was established as a national holiday in 1914. This is the 100th anniversary of Mother's Day. And our society has gotten worse. Divorces are more prevalent. Sexual immorality is more rampant. And the fulfillment of self-pleasure. If you ask people what's most important in life right now, most people would say, making me happy. Self-fulfillment is the most important thing. That's why moms need to teach, equip, love, and prepare children for this world. And when they do a proper job of that, then they will rise up and call it. Let's stand. Let's sing together.